All right, let's unlock the secrets to landing that dream job as a localizer. We're going deep into interview prep today,
Really dissecting those tricky questions, yeah.
giving you the insights you need to really shine.
And you know what's interesting?
What's that?
We're not just talking about translating words here, are we? It's more than that.
Deeper than that.
Yeah,
What?
we're delving into cultural adaptation.
Ooh, I like that. Cultural adaptation.
Yeah, how do you make sure a product or a game or even a website feels like it was made for that audience?
Yeah.
No matter where they are in the world.
It's about understanding, like, those unspoken cues, right?
Absolutely.
Like the humor and the references that truly resonate with a specific audience.
Yes, and you know what?
Hmm.
That is a skill in super high demand.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the RoleCatcher Career Guide actually says that with the world becoming so interconnected,
Right.
the need for skilled localizers is just growing rapidly.
It's exploding.
It is.
Okay, so to help us kind of seize these opportunities, I think what we should do is break down these 10 common interview questions,
Love that.
provided by RoleCatcher, of course, and give our listeners the insider perspective on what those interviewers are really looking for.
Yeah, what are they really after? Let's get into it.
All right, so let's jump into question number 1 from the RoleCatcher Interview Guide.
Okay, hit me.
Can you describe your previous experience with localization?
All right.
Now, this might seem straightforward, but I bet there's more to it than meets the eye.
You're absolutely right. It's not just about listing your past jobs. It's not about rattling off titles.
Right.
They want to see you understand the essence of localization, even if you haven't had that exact title before.
Okay.
Right. So think about projects where you adapted something for a different audience.
Okay.
Maybe you helped translate a website
Yeah.
or even just a document for like a community organization or something.
So it's about showcasing those transferable skills,
That's it.
right? Like if you've had to explain a complex concept in really simple terms.
Yes.
Or tailor a presentation for a very specific group.
Absolutely.
Those are all relevant experiences.
Yeah, highlight those moments where you had to bridge that gap, connect with the specific audience.
Yes.
And don't forget, the RoleCatcher Career Guide also mentioned that cultural sensitivity piece, right?
Right.
So did you ever work on a project with people from diverse backgrounds?
Yeah.
That kind of experience can be absolute gold in an interview.
Makes sense. Okay, that's super helpful. Let's move on to question number 2.
Let's do it.
How would you approach localizing a piece of content for a new market? This one feels a bit more strategic to me.
It is, definitely. This
Uh-huh.
is where you show your process.
Yeah.
Your cultural awareness.
Right.
So don't just give them like a generic list of steps.
Okay, yeah.
Paint a picture, right?
Yes.
Talk about how you'd immerse yourself in that target market's culture.
Okay.
Research their values, their humor, even their current events.
Right. It's about going beyond the language
It is.
and really showing a genuine interest in these people you're trying to reach.
Yes, connect with them.
And speaking of going beyond, I think there might be a bit of a sneaky follow-up question here. What do you think?
Ooh, like what?
Like, what challenges do you anticipate when localizing for this specific market?
Oh, that's a good one, yeah. And that's where your research comes in, right?
Yeah.
So you could say, oh, there are these unique idioms that are hard to translate, or talk about sensitivities around certain imagery.
Yeah.
Show them you've done your homework and you're prepared to tackle those nuances.
And I bet RoleCatcher's AI can give you an edge here.
100%.
Didn't their material mention how the AI can actually help you identify potential challenges for certain roles?
Yeah, it's amazing. The AI can analyze that job description and highlight potential hurdles
Yeah.
specific to that role or that industry.
Wow.
It's like a personalized cheat sheet.
I love it.
It helps you anticipate those tricky questions and shows you're proactive.
Okay, I'm officially impressed. So let's move
Yeah.
on to question 3.
Okay, number 3.
Can you provide an example of a successful localization project you have worked on?
All right.
This is where we get to show off those localization muscles.
This is it. This is your time to shine.
Yeah.
But remember, details are key.
Yes.
Don't just say, I translated a website.
Right.
Walk them through it. What were the challenges? How did you adapt the content?
Yeah.
Were there cultural sensitivities? Legal requirements?
Right. And what were the results?
Yeah. What happened?
Did your work lead to increased engagement? Did you get positive feedback?
Yeah.
Maybe you even won an award for amazing localization skills.
Oh, I like that.
Quantifiable results, I think, speak volume.
They do. And you know what? This is where RoleCatcher's AI can help again.
Okay.
It can tailor your response to that specific job. By analyzing the job description, the AI can highlight those skills and experiences that the employer really values.
Okay.
So you can use that information to craft an answer that hits their needs and their priorities.
It's like having a personal career coach, guiding you to highlight the most relevant aspects of your experience.
I like that analogy.
All right, on to question 4. How do you stay up to date with new localization trends and technologies?
Ooh, good one.
This is where we show our commitment to lifelong learning, I think.
It's all about showing your passion, showing you're curious, that you're engaged in the field,
Yeah.
and that you're constantly looking for ways to improve.
And thankfully, the RoleCatcher Career Guide has a whole section on staying updated.
They do. It's a great section.
They recommend following relevant blogs, joining industry forums, and even attending webinars or conferences.
Those are all great.
So if you mention these specific resources, you're showing you're serious.
100%. Yeah.
You're serious about staying ahead of the curve.
And here's another potential follow-up. The interviewer might ask, what's a recent trend in localization that you're excited about? And how do you see it impacting the industry?
Ooh, I love that. It's your chance to geek out a little. Show your enthusiasm for the field.
It is.
Maybe you're fascinated by machine translation or user-generated content. Whatever it is, share your passion.
Yeah, show you understand how this industry is evolving.
Demonstrate that understanding.
And there's no shame in mentioning you've used RoleCatcher's AI to stay informed.
No, not at all.
Their platform provides amazing curated insights and news. It helps you stay ahead of the game.
Like having a personal research assistant,
That's it.
keeping you in the loop.
Yeah.
Okay, let's tackle question 5. How do you balance the need for speed with the need for accuracy in localization projects? Now, this is a classic interview question, and it's all about showing you can handle the pressure.
It is a classic. You've got to demonstrate that you can prioritize, right? You can make strategic decisions.
Okay.
So talk about your time management skills. Talk about your meticulous attention to detail.
And your ability to work under pressure, tight deadlines. You could even mention specific tools that you use,
Right, yeah.
like translation memory software, quality assurance checklists.
And don't be afraid to share a real-life example. Maybe you had a project where you had to meet a crazy deadline, but still maintain quality.
I love that.
Yeah.
How did you approach it? What challenges did you face? How did you overcome them?
Right, yeah. Those stories really bring your skills to life.
They do. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can give you feedback on your answers to these questions, too.
Oh, wow.
They have a platform where you can practice video interviews
Okay.
and get personalized insights on how to improve your delivery, the content.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground already. So let's take a quick breather, and then we'll dive into the next set of questions in part 2.
Sounds good. Let's take a break. All right, so picking up where we left off, question number 6 from the RoleCatcher Interview Guide.
Hit me.
How do you ensure consistency across different languages and markets in a large-scale localization project? Ooh, this is a good one. This is where your project management skills come into play, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
The art of juggling all those languages and cultural nuances.
That's it.
What are some key things that interviewers are looking for here?
I think they want to see that you understand what it takes to work with these diverse teams,
Okay.
and implement strategies to maintain that consistency.
Okay.
So things like style guides, translation memory tools,
Yeah.
clear communication.
Right. It's about creating a framework
Yes,
that ensures that everyone's on the same page from the get-go.
exactly.
Translators, developers, marketing teams.
Yep. And you know what? This might be a good place to mention those project management methodologies you're familiar with,
Yeah, like what?
like Agile
Okay.
or Waterfall,
Yeah.
showing that you're aware of the industry standard.
Demonstrating that knowledge.
Right.
I like it.
And you know what? I bet this question could lead to a fantastic follow-up. They might ask, tell me about a time you had to resolve a conflict or inconsistency in a project.
Ooh, good one. This is where we get to showcase those conflict resolution skills and diplomacy.
That's it. It's going to happen, right? You're going to encounter different opinions, different interpretations. It's just the nature of working on a multicultural project.
Right, for sure.
So be prepared to share an example. Maybe you had to mediate between a translator and a developer.
Okay.
The translator's worried about cultural accuracy,
Yeah.
and the developer's focused on, is this technically feasible?
Yeah.
Explain how you approach that, facilitated communication,
Yeah.
and found a solution that worked for everybody.
Right. respecting both perspectives.
Exactly. And remember that the RoleCatcher Career Guide talks about this a lot, that cultural sensitivity piece.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole process, it's super important. So if you can highlight how you navigated a culturally sensitive situation, it just really demonstrates your commitment to those values.
Shows that you are who you say you are.
Exactly. Okay, let's move on to question number 7. This one asks, can you provide an example of how you've improved the localization process at a previous company?
Ooh, I like this one.
Yeah, it's about showing your initiative, your problem-solving skills.
Right.
It's not just about following a process, it's about actively trying to make it better.
Yes. Did you streamline a workflow?
Mm-hmm.
Implement a new tool? Find a more efficient way to manage those translations? Something like that.
All of that, yeah. Think about a time where you identified a problem and took action.
Okay.
Maybe you introduced a new quality assurance checklist
Okay.
that reduced errors.
Yo.
Or you implemented a translation memory system,
Makes sense.
that saved time, saved resources.
And don't forget to quantify your impact.
That's a good point. Did your improvement lead to faster turnaround times?
Did it increase accuracy?
Yeah.
Did you save the company money?
Right.
Those details just make your answer stronger.
They make it more compelling.
Yeah, and it shows that you understand the business side of things, not just the language side of things.
I like that. Okay. And what about a potential follow-up question here?
Ooh, what do you think they'll ask?
Well, what were some of the challenges you faced when implementing this change? And how did you overcome them?
Right. This is where you show that you're resilient, you can navigate change.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you had colleagues who were resistant to the new way of doing things.
Yeah.
How did you get their buy-in?
Right. How did you convince them?
Did you present data?
Did you compromise?
Yeah. Sharing those challenges and how you overcame them just shows your leadership skills.
I like it.
Okay, let's move on to question number 8. How do you work with stakeholders across different departments to ensure that their needs are met in a localization project?
The art of stakeholder management. This is all about collaboration and communication.
Right, because you're going to be working with a diverse group of people, right? Developers, marketers, legal teams,
Yeah,
maybe even executives.
exactly. And each stakeholder might have different priorities, different concerns.
Right.
They want to see that you can communicate effectively with these different groups, understand their needs, and find solutions that work for everybody.
It's not just about talking to people. It's about actively listening to them. Remember those active listening skills we talked about earlier?
It's important, yeah.
They're absolutely crucial here.
Yeah, it's about making sure that everyone feels heard
Yeah.
and that their input is valued.
You know what can help you nail this question?
What's that?
RoleCatcher's AI-powered interview practice platform.
Ooh, tell me more.
So their platform actually lets you practice answering this very question.
Oh,
In a simulated interview setting, you record your response, and the AI will analyze your tone, body language, and even your content. It can even detect if you're using inclusive language,
that's amazing.
making eye contact, which are essential for effective stakeholder management.
It's like having a personal coach giving you feedback on those little things.
Yeah, exactly.
So subtle cues that can make or break the interview.
Okay, let's move on to question number 9. How do you ensure that localized content is compliant with local laws and regulations? Now, this is a critical one.
It is, especially with a global audience.
We're dealing with so many different countries and so many different rules.
Different rules about advertising, data privacy, even what's considered appropriate content.
It can get really tricky really quickly.
It can.
And you need to show that you're aware of these nuances.
Yeah.
And you take compliance very seriously.
You got to. It's about being more than just a language expert. You're a cultural and legal navigator. So how can we showcase that expertise?
Yeah, how do we do that?
Talk about your research process. Do you consult with legal experts? Are there specific databases you use, resources you use to stay informed?
Right.
Have you worked with content that requires like special attention, financial or medical information?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Sharing a specific example might be really helpful here.
That's a good idea.
Maybe you had to adapt marketing materials to comply with advertising laws in a certain country.
Yeah.
How did you approach that? What steps did you take?
Yeah, how did you make sure you were doing everything by the book?
Right. Concrete examples really bring your experience to life, I think.
They do, and they demonstrate that you can problem solve.
Okay, you ready for the final question?
Let's do it. Hit me.
All right. Question number 10. How do you manage cultural nuances and ensure that localized content is culturally sensitive? And And I think this one brings us back to the heart of localization,
It does.
right? It's not just about the words, it's about conveying that meaning and intent
That's it.
in a way that truly resonates.
It's about being a cultural ambassador, making sure your content is not only accurate, but also appropriate.
Respectful of that target culture.
Exactly. And this is where your personal experiences come into play.
Right.
So the interviewer wants to see that you get it, you understand the power of language.
Mm-hmm.
So share your process for researching these nuances. Do you work with native speakers? Do you consult cultural guides? Do you immerse yourself in media? And I think it's also really important to emphasize that cultural sensitivity, it's an ongoing learning process.
Oh, for sure.
Cultures evolve.
Yes.
And our understanding of them needs to evolve as well.
Constantly.
Right? So maybe mention how you stay up to date on cultural trends, shifts,
That's great. It shows that you're committed to learning and that you're adaptable.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? I bet they might ask, tell me about a time when you had to navigate a culturally sensitive issue in a project.
Okay.
What did you learn from it? That's a really insightful question. It's an opportunity to showcase your cultural intelligence.
It is.
Right. And your ability to handle sensitive situations with grace.
It is. It is. So be ready to share an example of where you had to make a judgment call
Okay.
about how to adapt something that was potentially offensive or controversial. How'd you approach it? Who'd you talk to? What happened?
Yeah, what was the outcome?
Sharing these real-world examples just shows that you can think critically, you can problem solve, and you can make good decisions that respect those cultural differences.
And, this reminds me of another way RoleCatcher's AI can help.
Oh, tell me.
Their platform provides some great insights into company cultures and values.
Uh-huh.
So before your interview, you could use their AI to research the company you're interviewing with.
Okay. Yeah.
And get a better understanding of their approach to diversity and inclusion.
I love that.
And this can really help you tailor your answers to showcase that alignment with their values.
It's like you have that inside track.
It is.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today. 8 tough interview questions.
We have.
And some great insider tips on how to impress.
Yeah, but we're not done yet. There's still more to explore. We'll be back in part 3 to discuss career paths, the pros and cons of being a localizer, and, of course, how RoleCatcher can be your secret weapon in landing that dream job.
All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into becoming a localizer. We've talked about those tough interview questions, but now let's look at what a career in this field really looks like.
Yeah, acing the interview is just the first step, right?
Exactly. You need to know the paths you can take, the potential challenges and the rewards waiting for you.
Right, and we have the RoleCatcher Career Guide to help us figure all that out. It's full of info about specializations, career stages, even pros and cons of being a localizer.
Yeah, let's start with those specializations. Did you know you can actually niche down and become an expert in a specific industry?
Oh, really? That's interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you could focus on gaming localization.
Okay.
Adapting video games for different cultures. Or you could specialize in legal translation, which requires, deep understanding of legal terminology and stuff.
That makes sense. I'm sure each specialization has its own unique challenges and rewards. What other areas can localizers focus on?
So many. You could work in marketing, software development, e-learning, even the medical field.
Wow.
It's really about thinking about what excites you, where your skills and cultural understanding can make a difference.
That's really cool. There are so many options.
Mm-hmm.
But what about career progression? What does the RoleCatcher Career Guide say about that?
They outline the different stages, from entry-level roles all the way up to senior management. You could start as a translator or a localization specialist, and then move into project management, quality assurance, even leadership.
Okay, so there's a clear growth path then for those who want to move up.
Definitely.
But let's be honest. Every career has its pros and cons. What does the RoleCatcher Career Guide say about the downsides of being a localizer?
Well, they mention it can be high pressure sometimes, tight deadlines. And because you often work with global teams, you have to be flexible with time zones and communication style.
That's true. That can be tough. But I imagine the rewards must outweigh the challenges for people who are really passionate about this.
Ooh, definitely. The RoleCatcher Career Guide highlights the satisfaction that comes with, bridging those cultural gaps, making information accessible to people all over the world and get to work with such diverse teams, learn about new cultures and languages all the time.
It does sound pretty intellectually stimulating and personally fulfilling. And speaking of fulfilling, how does RoleCatcher's AI fit into all of this? We've talked about how it helps with interview prep. Can it also help with our career growth in general?
Absolutely. Remember how we talked about their platform analyzing job descriptions and highlighting relevant skills?
Yeah, I remember.
You can use that same technology to explore different career paths and see where you might need to develop your skills.
So if I was interested in gaming localization, for example, RoleCatcher's AI could tell me what specific skills or experience I should focus on.
Exactly. And it can even recommend courses, certifications, even volunteer opportunities to help you gain those skills and boost your career.
That's incredible. It's like having a personalized career advisor right in your pocket.
It is.
And the best part is, it's all powered by AI, so it's constantly learning and adapting to your needs.
It's a real game changer for anyone who wants to get into localization or move up in their career. So, as we wrap up our deep dive today, I want to leave you with this.
Okay.
Localization is more than just a job. It's a way to connect people and ideas across borders. It's a bridge between cultures.
That's a great way to put it.
So embrace those challenges, celebrate those rewards,
Yeah.
and use your skills to make a positive impact on the world.
I love that. And to all our aspiring localizers out there listening, remember that you have the power to shape how people experience the world. So embrace your passion for language and culture, take advantage of the tools out there,
Absolutely.
and go make your mark on the world. Good luck on your journey,